Welcome to Bakes and Blenders. Today we're going to be decorating an eggnog cake with rum buttercream stripes, topping it with an eggnog ganache drip, and then decorating it with Isomalt discs and edible gold and silver leaf. So if you're excited, let's get started. Place your Isomalt nibs into small silicone bowls. I'm going to be doing clear, red, and green, so I'm doing 3. You can choose whichever colors you want, just make sure you have a bowl for each color. Microwave the Isomalt nibs for 30-second intervals until they're completely melted and nice and bubbly. At that point, you can use a toothpick to stir in any gel color or pearl dust or luster dust that you would like to add a little color and shine to your Isomalt. Place metal circle cutters on a silicone baking mat. It must be metal because the Isomalt will melt plastic. I've only tried this technique with circle cutters, but in theory it should work with any metal cookie or fondant cutter. Once the bubbles have subsided mostly, but the Isomalt is still very much liquid, you can begin pouring the Isomalt into the cookie cutters. Pour slowly and steadily until the Isomalt fills the entire cutter. They will spread a little bit, so you don't need to dump it in too quickly, but if it's not quite reaching the sides, add a little bit more Isomalt. Get creative and try mixing some of the clear Isomalt with your colored Isomalt to create unique designs. As a safety note, I like to wear gloves when I'm working with Isomalt. It won't protect you completely from burns, but it will help. Plus, it prevents you from leaving fingerprints or marks on the cooled down Isomalt. Now let your cutters with the molten Isomalt set for about 15 minutes until the Isomalt is nice and firm and hard. You can find links to the products that I've used in the description box below this video. Once the Isomalt is set, you can easily just pop off the metal cookie cutter and you'll have your disc. If they're not coming off easily, that might mean that your Isomalt is not ready, so just give it a few more minutes. The discs will probably still be a bit warm, so just leave them on the silicone baking mat to cool down completely. To attach a lollipop stick or a toothpick to the back of your Isomalt discs, go ahead and melt some more clear Isomalt, dip your stick in the molten sugar, and then attach it carefully to the back of your disc. I did this on several of my larger ones, that way I could stagger their height on my cake. Once that Isomalt has set up, you can put the discs into an airtight container layered between wax paper if necessary, and they should keep for quite a long time until you're ready to decorate your cake. If you're enjoying this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you can see more of my videos. I'm starting with my eggnog cake that has already been filled, stacked, and crumb coated. If you would like to get some more information on how to do this with your own cake, check out the link above. I'll also drop it in the description box below. First tip, I wish that I had put on a thicker coat of frosting before I started applying my stripes. I ended up having my stripes too shallow. We'll get to that later though. Pipe your stripes onto the cake and use your striped cake comb to smooth until you get nice, beautiful stripes. Continue to work your way around the cake, filling in any gaps or air bubbles in your stripes until you're happy with how your cake looks. Pop your cake in the fridge to chill for about 30 minutes or until your buttercream is super firm. I transferred my chilled cake to my acrylic cake discs. I can post the tutorial for that up above and down in the description box below. And this is the point where I realized that I had made a mistake with my buttercream stripes. Fill in the gaps between your stripes with the spiced rum buttercream, and because my stripes were too shallow, I had to go back and pre-pipe my white stripes as well. Once your stripes are piped, you can start scraping. As you scrape, continue to go back and fill in any air bubbles or pockets that need more frosting with either the brown or the white buttercream. You'll find the recipes used in this video in the description box below. Once you're satisfied with how your stripes look, go ahead and pop your cake in the fridge to chill and firm up. Gently heat the candy melts and eggnog in a double boiler or in the microwave and stir until you have a nice thick, smooth ganache. Once the ganache has cooled down to about 99 degrees Fahrenheit, you're ready to do your eggnog ganache drip. I always do a test strip on the back of the cake just to see if the ganache is at the right temperature. My test strip here was a little too warm, so I stopped what I was doing, waited a few minutes, and then tried again, and it was the right consistency. Work your way around the cake, alternating how much ganache you squeeze out so that you have some drips that are shorter, some that are longer. Makes for a nice irregular random drip. Now I'm using a small piping bag and I just snipped the very tip off. You can use a squeeze bottle. You could even use a spoon, though I do feel like you have less control there. You have options though. Finish it off by adding the ganache to the top of your cake and smoothing it until it's a nice even layer. Then you can pop your cake in the fridge for about 15 minutes to let the ganache set up most of the way. Now we get to decorate our gorgeous eggnog cake. First thing you want to do is figure out which side of the cake is your back and which side is the front. Also, if you have a little helper in the house, I suggest you bring them in so they can give you their opinion. You can add the Isomalt disc to your cake in any way that you'd like. However, my suggestion is to start with the tallest and the largest discs in the back and have a gradient coming forward and ending with the smallest ones. Now, I did have to trim the lollipop stick on one of mine. The toothpicks, I didn't have to trim it all. You can use those to support your discs. When you get to the smaller ones, I suggest, and I did this, you might want to press some of those discs into the cake slightly. 1, to create a height difference. 2, to make sure that they are secure. Ben loved helping me with this part. It was so much fun to bring him in and have him help design my cake. I absolutely love the fun Christmas vibes in this cake with the brown and white stripes, the white drip, and then the red, clear, and green colors of the Isomalt discs. I just think it is so festive and fun. However, you can use this technique with any colors you like. So if you have some fun color combinations, leave me a comment and tell me down below. Red and green are iconic colors during the winter holidays. However, they're not alone. It also makes me think of silver and gold, so I decided let's go ahead and add some to this amazing cake. Add touches of the edible silver and gold leaf anywhere you want on this cake. I liked to fill that kind of emptier space on top of the cake. I think it looked great on some of the Isomalt discs. Wherever you want, this is just going to add a little bit of flair. I am using edible gold and silver leaf from Barnabas Gold. Make sure that you use a reputable brand and that it is edible and food safe. I highly recommend Barnabas Gold though. I'll put a link below in case you're interested. Decorating a cake with Isomalt discs, buttercream stripes, a delicious ganache drip is super easy, but it's going to give you a gorgeous and stunning cake. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, you might want to check out my cake decorating playlist up on your screen right now. Happy caking!